Hello and welcome to ANA's Fast 15, a virtual training module designed to help you and your chapter succeed. As always, the success of ANA depends on volunteer leaders, so thank you for your commitment to ANA. This is a chapter officer module for chapter presidents. But wait, before you begin, be sure to complete these two Fast 15s, the ANA Governance Fast 15 and the Officer Basics Fast 15s. These will help you better understand ANA and the basis for volunteer leadership within the American Nephrology Nurses Association. We hope this virtual training module for chapter presidents will help you better understand the function of the president. In it, we will provide examples, tell you where to find the tools you need to get started, and help you identify any additional resources you may need. We promise to keep it to just 15 minutes or less because we know how valuable your time is. The President should be familiar with ANA's strategic plan, the mission statement. ANA promotes excellence in and appreciation of nephrology nursing so that we, ANA, can make a positive difference for people with kidney disease. The President oversees the general functioning of his or her chapter and serves as a liaison between the Board of Directors, ANA Chapter Support Team, or ASSIST, the National Office, and many of the other teams that help make ANA successful. Let ANA's three initiatives guide you. Number 1, Virtual Learning Community. Number 2, Excellence, Small Bites and Full Tilt. And 3, The Fire Within, Pursuing our and your road to success. Of course, this all takes time, but we want for chapter volunteer work to be a joy, not a job. Plan to hold conference calls with the other chapter officers. Make sure to recruit active members to participate in chapter activities. Spread the work and make sure to respect your and others' private time. You can have conference calls every month, every other month, or as needed. Remember, small bites and full tilt. The President should be organized, committed, passionate, and knowledgeable about ANA. The best place to start your journey as a chapter president is the VLW, or the Volunteer Leaders Workshop. There you will learn more about conducting business meetings, creating chapter work plans, being an effective leader, and organizational skills. You can learn how to be a mentor and find the perfect mentor for yourself. Can't or didn't make it to the VLW? Well, don't worry, ANA has many great resources to help you succeed. There are additional Fast 15s on a variety of subjects. The chapter president is responsible for making sure his or her chapter makes recharter and oversees the work of the other chapter officers. How well you complete these tasks depends on communication, collaboration, delegation, and completion of the tasks that you have been asked to do. The President can also make sure his or her chapter is in the running for a STAR award by making sure to record any STAR points the chapter is eligible for. Don't know anything about STAR? Well, have no fear. There's a Fast 15 about STAR points. So, you've either won the chapter election or gained the position by default. Hopefully you've moved up the ranks and held other chapter officer positions. Here are a few things to get you started on your chapter year. Make sure to review ANA's policy and procedures, especially Section 6, which has to do with chapters. Check to see if your chapter has any unique bylaws. If so, these need to be reaffirmed every year. Though ANA does advise that chapters adopt the recommended chapter bylaws, as seen in Policy and Procedures 6.04, any amendments made to the recommended chapter bylaws for an individual chapter must be reviewed first by the ANA Chapter Support Team Leader and the National Secretary before being presented to the chapter members for a vote. Make sure that your chapter's affiliation agreement is current. See Policy and Procedure 6.01a. Gather all your needed resources, most of which can be found in the Chapter Officers Only section on the ANA website. Plan your chapter's first business meeting of the year with the outgoing chapter president, preferably sometime in January. Your incoming and outgoing officers can collaborate on what activities you want to accomplish during your presidency, and you can also get a good start on your chapter work plans. But most important, know your deadlines. When are the reports due? Some of the ongoing responsibilities include checking your email, preferably daily. Perhaps you can set up an ANA-specific email. Just make sure to update your contact information on the ANA website if you do this. Establish a communication system that you can contact your fellow officers and chapter members. Make sure to participate in any national and chapter-related activities. Set up a system to track your chapter's reports and financial activity. Follow up with other chapter officers to make sure tasks are being completed correctly and by the due date. Take time to watch the other officers' Fast 15s to familiarize yourself with the duties of the other officers. I've mentioned chapter work plans several times. The chapters are strongly encouraged to complete work plans. Why? Well, work plans help you organize your chapter year and help assure your chapter success. Ask yourself, what has our chapter done for its members? Where do we want to see our chapter in the future? When do we want to achieve this by? And how are we going to get there? A work plan helps you keep your chapter on target to make recharter, but most important, it helps chapters plan activities that support ANNA's mission. Always remember to keep it simple and achievable, and submit it to earn chapter star points. Want to learn more about work plans? Guess what? That's another Fast 15. So, what does a chapter need to make recharter? Remember that small bites and full tilt? Well, ANNA has made it pretty easy to make recharter. A chapter must hold at least one business meeting and 2 educational meetings per year. One educational meeting must supply continuing education credits that have been approved by the American Nurses Credentialing Center Commission on Accreditation or another accredited continuing nursing education entity, such as state boards of nursing. Also, there are 3 reports due. These have to be submitted by their due dates. Here's a list of the mandatory and requested reports. The profile, which tells you who will be the chapter officers of the new year, is due January 15th. The financial reports must be submitted by the due dates. The calendar year-end report is also due January 15th, and the fiscal year-end report is due on everyone's favorite day of the year, April 15th. Once again, the chapter must hold at least 1 business meeting per year and provide at least 2 educational events per year. One educational event must supply continuing education credits. How to put on an educational event? Well, that's another Fast 15. The meeting reports, be they educational or business, must be submitted within 30 days of the meeting. How to submit report? Well, guess what? That's another Fast 15. Also, every other month, an update article is due to the national office. And of course, we've talked about the chapter work plans. Submit the initial one, February 15th, then an updated one, May 15th, after the National Symposium and the BLW, and then the updated one at the end of the year to show your progress is due November 15th. Here's the good news about reports and update articles. ANNA has made it so easy to submit them, it'll take you less time to do so than it will to watch this Fast 15. So let's talk a bit more about money. The president needs to know where the chapter finances stand. Your chapter should have an EIN number that is unique to your chapter. The vendors will ask for this number whenever they supply grant money to your chapter. This number is given to them via a Form W-9. Your treasurer should have copies of a W-9 for chapter's use. But remember, a W-9 requires a date and signature, so a new one should be created every year. Also, every year, ANNA files taxes on behalf of the chapters with the IRS. So it is very important that the chapters submit the 2 financial reports by their due dates to the national office. If a chapter does not submit these reports, then the chapter becomes responsible to the Internal Revenue Service. I don't know about you, but I'd much rather have the national office be responsible for this task than my chapter. So make sure you get those financial reports in by their due dates. Here's a question for you. What is the most common reason for low attendance at meetings? Number 1, lack of communication from officers about the meeting. Number 2, meetings are a waste of time. And number 3, the location of the meeting is not easy to get to. Well, if you picked meetings are a waste of time and the location's hard to get to, as a chapter officer, you have an obligation to make sure the meetings aren't a waste of time and that the location is easy to get to. If you picked lack of communication from officers about the meeting, well then, good job, that is correct. If members do not hear from the chapter officers, they do not feel connected to the chapter. Make sure to connect with your members. Supply your contact information. Reach out either via chapter newsletters, chapter ANNA update articles, which a secretary usually submits, or a chapter website or Facebook page. Remember to give them a lot of advance notification of a meeting, at least 4 to 6 weeks. Then follow up reminders at 2 weeks, 1 week, and several days prior to the event. Still having issues with meeting attendance? Well, reach out to the national office or other chapter officers and members of the ANNA chapter support team. There are a lot of ANA members who have been around a long time and have seen pretty much every scenario. Remember, you are not alone, and these officers have wonderful information to help you get more members at your meetings. Get to know what your members want and need from the chapter. There are surveys available to help send to members. Just contact the national office for assistance with these surveys. If you have some really gung-ho and talented members, recruit them to help. Help them pursue the fire within. A great way to contact your members is through ANA Connected. It is the preferred communication method for ANA. Don't know how to use ANA Connected? Don't worry, there are several great tutorials available. Ask your assigned Assist team member for the ANA Connected tutorial links. So here's a question for you. How do you know if your chapter is on target to meet recharter? Number 1, guess. Number 2, check the monthly STAR report. Or 3, what's recharter? Well, if you picked guess and what is recharter, I hope you're just being silly. If not, you really need to contact your assigned Assist team member. They can help you answer these questions. But if you check the monthly STAR report, well then, yay, you did it! That is correct. Every month your assigned Assist team member will send you a STAR report. Make sure your meetings and reports are recorded. If not, contact your Assist team member and Janet Betts, the manager of chapter services at the national office. All these STAR points add up, and your chapter could be in the running for a STAR award. So, why should you keep track and submit STAR points? Well, every year at the National Symposium, STAR Awards are handed out. The categories follow along with ANA's strategic plan. Put your chapter in the running for one of these great awards. Once again, there's a STAR Fast 15 available if you need help with STAR. Well, I have talked a lot about resources. Well, this is how to get to them. Sign on to the ANA website and choose Chapters, then Chapter Officers Only. Chapter Officers Only will only appear after you have signed in. And if you are a new officer, it'll appear after the symposium in April. This is where you can find all the tools you need to be a successful chapter officer. More of a people person? Well, there are many other live type of resources. Other chapter officers are available. There are many chapter officers who have been in ANA for many years, and you have the staff at the national office that can also help you out. Also, look to your own chapter. There are members within your own chapter that have leadership skills that you can tap into. And once again, there's always stuff on the ANA website. There's links to the ANA Connected and also to the online library. Remember, you are not alone. There are people everywhere that are willing to help and want to help you succeed as a chapter officer. Still have questions? Well, have no fear. Assist is here, your ANA chapter support team. You can find the Assist team member who's been assigned to your chapter in the Chapter Officers Only section. Well, that has been a Fast 15. Make sure you go back to the Chapter Officers Only section and complete the short Fast 15 survey. We need the information to help us gather valuable feedback, additional ideas, and learn more about what you need as a chapter officer to succeed in your role. Also, STAR points are awarded to your chapter. Thank you, and have a great ANA year.